Now let us start solid state, the first lesson of the chemistry. Now see, as you know, the solid state of matter is characterized by strong interparticular forces of attraction, is it? That means most of the solids have definite shape and value because of the strong forces of attraction between the particles of the substance, is it? And the shape and volume changes slightly with depending upon the pressure and temperature, is it? Here the constituent particles may be atoms, molecules or ions, and collectively these are further called as simply particles. Okay, now classification of solids. The solids are basically classified into two categories, that is crystalline solid and amorphous solid. Say the characteristics of the crystalline solids. Actually the crystalline solid, in this case of crystalline solids, the constituent particles are arranged very periodically and regularly, and the arrangement of the particles is of long range order. Okay, but in the case of amorphous solid, the arrangement of the particle is not periodically as well as regularly. That means the particles are arranged randomly, and that means the arrangement, if it is found regularly, that is for short range order, not for long range, not of long range order it is. Then the crystalline solid have sharp melting points. That means they melt at a definite temperature. But the amorphous solid, whereas amorphous solids, they don't have a sharp melting point. They gradually melts over a range of temperature. Is it? Actually, as we heat gradually, they become soft and they start to flow. That's why these are also called as the supercooled liquids. Is it? The crystalline solids are anisotropic in nature. So what is anisotropy? The properties like refractive index, thermal and electrical conductivity is found to be different in different directions. If the properties like refractive index, thermal conductivity measured in different directions is found to be different, is it? Now see, for example, if you just see to this figure, say a solid consisting of different particles, and if we measure the properties in different directions, we can get the values magnitude in the different direction different, is it? If you just see, if we measure this, the property, a particular property refractive index in this way, that means that being different particles in this direction, the value will be different. And if we measure the property in this direction, similar properties are being in this direction, the property will be different, is it? This is anisotropy. Okay, now whereas here amorphous solids are isotropic in nature. That means the properties like refractive index, thermal and electrical conductivity is independent of direction of measurement, is it? See here, in the case of amorphous solids, being they are isotropic, that means the properties like refractive index, thermal conductivity, etc., if we measure in different direction, the magnitude of the property will be same. Is it? Now the examples of the crystalline solids are ice, NaCl, metals such as copper, gold, aluminium, and the materials like diamond, graphite. So these are the examples of the that means crystalline substances. And the example of this amorphous substances are, that is You can take the example of glass, plastic, rubber, etc. Is it? Even tar is the example. Okay, these are the example of the amorphous solid. Okay. Now, so this is about the solid substances and the classification as crystalline solid and amorphous solid. Let us say the isomorphism and polymorphism. Actually, the similarity and dissimilarity of the crystal structure in different solid is explained in terms of isomorphism and polymorphism. Is it? Now say, what is isomorphism? Isomorphism means two or more substances, solids, having same crystalline structure is said to be isomorphism or isomorphous substances. That means two or more substances having same crystal structure are called as isomorphous to each other, or it is isomorphism. For example, the substances, the chemical composition with same atomic ratio, that is sodium fluoride and magnesium oxide, are the isomorphic substances. The atomic ratio is also, that is 1:1. Sodium nitrate and calcium carbonate, the atomic ratio is 1:1:3. That means the atomic ratio of the chemical composition is also same. Is it? So this is the isomorphism. Now polymorphism. What is polymorphism? That is the single substance or one substance exists in two or more crystalline structure is called as isomorphism. Now, for example, that is the single substance, that is calcium carbonate CaCO3 exists in two different crystalline structure, that is calcite and aragonite. Is it? Similarly, the substance silica exists in different crystalline forms. Out of these, the three is given in alpha quartz, beta quartz and cristobalite. Is it? Now actually, in the case of elements, that is in the case of elements, the polymorphism is called as allotropy. Is it? For example, that is in the case of the allotropic forms of carbon. The allotropic forms of carbon, as you know, that is diamond, graphite, fullerene. These are the three allotropic forms of carbon. In the case of element, this polymorphism is called as allotropy. Okay, this is all about the isomorphism, polymorphism and allotropy. We have seen already the two types of the solids, that is amorphous and crystalline solids. Let us say about the crystalline solids. Crystalline solids further are classified into four categories: ionic crystals, covalent network crystals, molecular crystals and metallic crystals. Now see, out of these the first is ionic crystals. Ionic solids or ionic crystals. See, in this case, the constituent particles of these ionic crystals are charged ions. And these ions are cations and anions. Okay. Now see, in the crystal lattice, one charged ion is bonded with other oppositely charged ions by Coulombic forces, or these are bonded to each other by or held each other by electrostatic force of attraction. By electrostatic force of attraction. Electrostatic force of attraction. Is it? Now in ionic crystals, so these crystals are hard and brittle. These are hard and brittle, and because of this they have the high melting and boiling point, EMP and BP. They have high melting and boiling points. These are the next characteristics of the ionic crystals is actually these are non-conductors of electricity. These are in solid state. In solid state, these are non-conductors of electricity. But in melted or in dissolved state, they conducts the electricity. So these are the characteristics of the ionic crystals. And for example, as you know, sodium chloride, potassium sulfate, potassium chloride. So these are the few examples of ionic crystals. Okay, say the first category of the crystalline solids are ionic crystals. These contains the constituent particles of the ionic crystals are charged ions. These are cations and anions, positive and negative ions, and these are held together by the electrostatic force of attraction or Coulombic forces. These are hard and brittle. They have the high melting and boiling points. In solid state, these are non-conductors of electricity, but in the case of melted state or dissolved state, they conduct the electricity, and the example are sodium chloride and potassium sulfate and potassium chloride. Okay, now see, the next is covalent network crystals. Covalent network crystals. Say the covalent network crystals. See here in this solids, the constituent particles are atoms, and the atoms are held together by covalent bonding. Okay, that means the linking is present between the atoms is covalent bond. Okay, now see here, covalent bonding continues atom to atom to form a rigid three-dimensional network. It forms a rigid three-dimensional structure. And it forms a giant molecule. Entire crystal, it acts as a single bond. Say because of its rigidity, the structure becomes very strong, and because of this reason, these are very hard. Is it? See, actually, because of the reason, they are incompressible. They becomes incompressible. And because of this rigidity or hardness, their MP and boiling point are very high. Is it? See, actually, here the electrons in these covalent network crystals, the electrons are localized. Localized means they are not free to move. Is it? Localized, and that's why they are not mobile, and because of this reason, they are poor conductor of electricity. Conductors of electricity. And the examples are, that is diamond, quartz or silica. These are the examples. Okay, these are poor conductor of electricity because of the delocalization of the electrons. Okay, so this is about the covalent network crystals. Let us say the third type of the crystalline solids is molecular crystals or molecular solids. Now say The substances like chlorine, that is hydrogen, HCl, SO2, CH4, on solidification, they forms the molecular solids. They form the molecular solids or molecular crystals. Now in molecular crystals, the constituent particles are molecules, and say in the case of unbonded single atoms, that is the compounds which contains the single unbonded molecules like argon and neon, the constituent particles are atoms. Okay, now see, actually see within the molecule, here in molecular crystals the constituent particles, they are molecules, and within the molecule the covalent bonding is present between the atoms. Okay, but intermolecular forces, that means molecules are held by various forces of attraction. Now out of these, the one is dipole-dipole interactions. The molecular solids of the type SO2 or HCl, being opposite poles are present on the atoms, there is a permanent dipole is produced, and because of dipole-dipole interaction, the molecules are held together. Is it? The another is London forces. Weak London forces are present in the case of CH4 or that is hydrogen on solidification. Is it? But in the case of monoatomic solids like argon and neon, so these types of the London forces or dispersion forces, these are also called as dispersion forces, are present in these types of the solids. Now the third type of the intermolecular bonding or intermolecular forces of attraction is hydrogen bonding. Is it? Now in the case of ammonia NH3 as well as H2O, the molecules are held together by a hydrogen bonding. Okay, so here because of the presence of weak intermolecular attraction, these solids are soft. These solids are soft, and because of this they have the low melting and melting points. Actually they have the low melting point. Is it? And moreover, so these solids are poor conductors of electricity, but these are the good insulators. Okay, these are the poor conductors of electricity and they are good insulators. See, the next fourth type of the crystalline solids is metallic crystals. Okay, now see, in metallic crystals, the constituent particles are atoms of the same metallic element. Okay, and these atoms of the metal held by metallic bonding. Now what is metallic bonding? In the case of metals, the electrons, the valence electrons are freely move in the total entire crystal, metallic crystals, and say actually that is, see, it is just described as here the electrons move freely in the entire crystal, leaving behind the positively charged ions That's why, so it is said that metallic crystals are often described as the array of positive ions immersed in the sea of mobile electrons, and the attractive forces are generated here in this case are called as metallic bonds. That means the attractive interactions between the cation and mobile electrons constitute a metallic bond. Okay, now see the properties of the metallic crystals. What are the properties of the metallic crystals? So these are the malleable. Means these can be, that is, hammered into thin sheets. They give the thin sheets. They can be hammered to form the thin sheets. This property is called as malleability. Now another property is ductility. These are ductile. That means they can be drawn into wires. Is it? This is the another property. So Because of the mobile electrons present in the crystal, they are good conductors of electricity, good conductors of heat and electricity, heat and electricity, heat and electricity. Okay, now example, as you know, the metallic element, that is sodium, copper, aluminium, zinc, gold, silver, etc. Okay, so this is about the classification of the crystalline solids.